What's Gucci, everybody? Jay here again with another video, and today we're going to be talking about a Switch that has had a lot of drama surrounding it within the last few months. That's right, the Invyr Holy Pandas from Drop. Were they worth it? Stay tuned and find out. Okay. So the Holy Pandas, or more like Holy Dramas. When I first started looking for aftermarket Switches, Drop was starting to sell their second round of Invyr Holy Pandas. These are touted to be some of the best Switches in the aftermarket, the cream of the crop, the best of the Tactile world. I mean, these were so hyped that I was super excited to try to get my hands on these. At one point, I even saw a very popular YouTube video saying that these Switches were actually going for like $6 per Switch. It's like $400 for a 65% keyboard. Like, who in their right mind would pay that much for a Switch? These had to be good, right? So when I noticed Drop was selling these, I had to jump on it. I bought 110 as soon as I could, hoping that they would get shipped by May 31st. And then COVID happened. So at that point, we all knew things were gonna stop. Manufacturing, shipping, all of that was brought to an abrupt halt. But after a few months of things settling down, manufacturing started happening again, shipping started happening again. Drop was starting to give updates of them receiving these shipments of 1 million Holy Pandas that they're unboxing and shipping out. So I was getting super excited. I was getting so hyped that my pandas were going to be delivered pretty soon. Then July 14th happened. Apparently 10% of people's orders were accidentally skipped because the process of first in, first out was lost in translation. What does that mean? I have no clue. Maybe there was like language barriers or something, but 10% of people's orders got skipped. And who happens to be part of that 10% group? You guessed it, this guy. People were so pissed. I wasn't really that mad. I mean, shit happens, logistics fails happen. It wasn't that big of a deal. As long as I knew that my order wasn't canceled, I was all right. Drop, instead of refunding people money to their payment method, decided to just give people $10 credits to their account. People were so mad. Seriously, like they were just raging in the forums. Then shortly after, people started reporting that their Holy Pandas were coming pre-lubed from the factory. Oh boy, not this again. This was actually part of their selling point when they posted the Invyr Holy Pandas second round on their website. They were supposed to come unlubed from the factory to allow people to lube them up the way they wanted. If you ever paid attention to the first round of Holy Pandas that came out, you know that the lube jobs from the factory were super inconsistent. So nobody wanted that. People wanted to lube them on their own. But when people started reporting that theirs were coming lubed from the factory, people were pissed. People were grabbing their pitchforks, raging on the forums, asking for refunds. How do I cancel? Who do I need to contact to get my money back? It was a mess. Then on August 19th of 2020, Will Bright, the co-founder of Drop, states that the Holy Pandas were accidentally listed as palm housings and they're actually polycarbonate tops with nylon bottoms. Once again, this was a miscommunication from Drop to their customers, and people were furious. People were raging, saying that this was false advertisement and that it's illegal, and they were lying to their customers. Oh man, like people actually made YouTube videos advertising these as palm Holy Pandas, and people bought these Switches off the simple fact that they were palm housings. So people were pissed, and I can definitely understand. I get it. Tons of people that ordered their Holy Pandas wanted refunds. They wanted their money back. They immediately reached out to customer support asking for cancellations because these weren't being sold as advertised. I would have done the same thing if that's something that really mattered to me. The part that really sucks is the people that ordered from overseas who had to pay VAT taxes didn't get refunds for their VAT taxes they had to pay. They were screwed. And apparently, as a joke, Will Bright, again, the co-founder of Drop, jokingly said that maybe you should just provide us with proof of destruction take video of you burning your switches and get your refund that way. Now, they did say that this was a joke, but a lot of people took this seriously and were like, hey man, that's not a good idea. This kind of thing is very dangerous for people. Don't say things like that. And in today's world, you gotta be really careful about the things you say. Man, lots of drama. So going back to my original order, my original ship date was supposed to be May 31st of 2020, and I actually didn't get them until August 20th of 2020, so a couple months late. Once I received the package, I was a little torn. I was kind of excited, but at the same time, I was a little bit worried. Were my switches gonna be thrown all over the place inside the box, like many people's pictures showed? Were my switches gonna be lubed? Were they gonna suck? Did I waste my money? Am I gonna have to return these and just be heartbroken that my switches were complete booty? To my surprise though, when I opened that box, the switches were perfectly laid out in their little trays. And when I opened the switch, they were completely dry. I was lucky. I was one of the lucky few, or maybe majority. I don't know. I don't know if the issues happen with a lot of people or if the issues happen with a little bit of people. But I didn't have the factory lube issues. My switches weren't flown all over the place during shipping. Like, they were literally set nice and neatly in their box. I was so filled with joy that I immediately took all of the switches apart, lubed and filmed them all, and threw them right into the NK65 to try them out. And this is what they sound like. So what do I like about the switches? Well, for one, they're a little bit lighter than the blueberries and don't have that weird double bump that the blueberries had. They have a very nice tactile bump. Buying them from drop is definitely more affordable than those crazy aftermarket prices that I heard about when watching that YouTube video, or even buying 2 sets of switches to make your Franken switch. Apparently you can make these with getting the housings from the Holy Pandas and the Halo stems and putting them together and making your own. And last but not least, if you end up not liking the switches, you can return them to drop. They do offer a return policy if you don't like the way they came from the factory. Except those of you who live overseas and have to pay the VAT tax. Sorry, you kind of just get screwed out of that. So what do I not like about these switches? For one, they're plate mount, so there's only 3 pins versus the 5 pins. They're not palm housings as originally advertised when I first bought them. That's kind of a big letdown because I was really curious how the palm housings would affect the actual switch, but at the end of the day, it's not a huge deal, just kind of a dislike. It has a little bit of a louder sound profile than I like. I don't like silent switches, but I also don't like obnoxiously loud switches either. So this is kind of in the louder side of things, and it's just not my jam. And lastly, the increase in price after this latest drop. So when I ordered them, they were about 90 cents per switch, which was, you know, a little bit on the expensive side, but still kind of affordable. But now they're about $1.14 per switch. This trumps the $1 per switch price range of the ZOPC switches. Talk about boutique pricing. So do I think they were worth it? At the price I paid for them, yeah, I feel like they were worth it. Once I received the switches and found out that they weren't lubed from the factory, I was pretty happy with being able to just lube them the way I wanted to and being able to enjoy the switches like I wanted to enjoy them and not how other people were affected with their bad lube jobs. My switches didn't come all messed up in the box. They weren't lubed from the factory. I got to do my own lube job on these, and they feel great to type on. I really enjoy typing on these switches. If you're worried about the price, you could actually just pick up some Duroc T1s and they're a lot cheaper. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the purchase. I plan on keeping these switches. I think I'm gonna save them for a board that I'm gonna build for work, primarily since I'm gonna be typing most of the time. Let me know in the comments, would you buy these switches? Do you think they're worth the money? Or would you go ahead and skip out on these and put your money towards something else? As always, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace!